Greetings, this is the Aquarian Sage with your tarot card reading for the month of December 2020. Right away, we're going to start by looking at what is here right now, and for that, I pulled the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is protected, she is powerful, she is unyielding, she is so rooted down in her truth that she enchants and captivates as she moves from her internal fire. She truly is the archetypal representation of the intersection between our primordial urge to satiate our every desire through engaging with the external world and our drive to transcend these desires on a soul level. She plays between the shadows of half-heartedness and desire, and there lies the key to understanding how we can unlock the magic and the medicine of this card through the process of alchemy. For it is these two ancient frequencies that have created the most emotional confusion and chaos within our species. At the root of the fully activated Queen of Wands, she has come to recognize her relationship to her desires and the direct connection that it has to her ability to fuel her drive towards fulfilling them. The magic is created by fully embracing your desire. Anything that is done at a full commitment will by nature not only have direction and drive, but also create momentum around it, and as such will influence the electromagnetic field in the environment and in that sense manipulate reality. There is nothing inherently wrong with desire. In fact, it is perhaps the greatest driver of human evolution because it puts us in direct contact with new experiences that become the catalyst for our own personal evolution. She has come to realize that desire is but a clever trick, the elusive nature of the trickster gods within, as they seek to entertain their most abysmal of fantasies. In fact, in order to stay on course, we must walk through the abyss. We must be presented with every challenge in order to test our commitment to our own path. For moving past our own doubt and fear require a full-hearted commitment to cultivate transcendence. She is the deepest of dives into the night. She is the profound mystery of the underworld working within. In order for us to guide our will in full-hearted expression, it requires us to see the cycles within ourselves, having the discernment to close a cycle when its time has come, or renew our commitment to it if it is truly feeding the fire within. We must embody the unembraced fear of following through with things until the end. No longer abandoning our hopes, our dreams, our projects, our relationships, and most importantly, ourselves at the first stages of difficulty. All things follow their own cycles, and when we get stuck, we have failed to accept their passing, and through the corrupted desire to continue the cycle, we attach ourselves to misery, misfortune, and bad luck. This is when we have fallen victim to the shadows and shortcomings of the seductive thrill of the desires of mankind. Desires, like all things, move in cycles and must be honored, even if we have no intention on satisfying them, because it will reveal the length of a given cycle with the object of desire. When we fail to honor it, we are watering the seeds of shame and guilt as we rob ourselves from fully embracing the clarity that is revealed through fulfilling the desire. In this sense, half-heartedness becomes the way we engage with our desire out of fear, shame, or guilt. It is from these spaces that we create burnout and frustration by committing, overcommitting, or not committing at all to ourselves or to the external reality and its many obligations. The Queen of Wands is the radically empowered reclamation of pleasure, passion, desire as a vehicle towards personal development and evolution of the soul. She is devoted to her own autonomous ability to make shift happen in and around her by the very nature of her being and the relationship she has to her deepest desires. She is in communion with the animal within, and she bows in humble recognition of its urges and longings, but uses the light-hearted immortal nature of her soul to ground into the path of service to the highest within, so that she may serve without. Next, we're looking at what is underneath the surface, and for that, we have the wheel. And the wheel is coming in fast and hard to really reveal the inner workings of the universe and what's happening right behind the scenes. It is both a physical and non-physical representation of the natural cycles of life. Again, that takes us back to the Queen of Wands and the understanding of the beginning being implicit in the end, and the ending implicit in the beginning. Coupled with this knowledge, we are offered a beautiful opportunity to take the wheel and steer our lives in the direction that best serves us and our aligned purpose. This is the transmutation of purposelessness into the gift of totality, for totality means to embrace all of life and the whole of our nature. It is about understanding that there are larger themes at play, and how can we best orientate ourselves to the rhythms of life so that we can use the natural flow of energy to assist us in the work that we do. This is especially important since the wheel kicks off the initiation into different seasons of our life. And here in December, we enter a new season on the same day as we go into the Great Conjunction, meaning the energy of this is potent and here to propel us into a whole new echelon of existence within the matrix of our lives. It means living moment to moment rather than allowing ourselves to be swept into the temporal trappings of the mind. At this point in the journey, we have gained enough self-mastery to direct our own will in a positive direction, ensuring that we are keeping a balance between what we think and feel and what we do. In order to overcome future challenges, we must be willing to cut away the parts of ourselves that no longer serve us so we may regenerate ourselves, creating new and improved neural pathways to help us better navigate ourselves on the path. For our hidden challenge, we have the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands is really here to ask us to keep going, to not give up. And our hidden challenge is the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands is really here to remind us not to give up, to keep going. We are so close to getting to our goal, to the end. It's right before 10, and 1 to 10 begin again. So it's here to remind us that it is absolutely possible for us to keep going despite how physically, mentally, and energetically exhausted we may feel. It is here cheering us on, letting us know that the end is in sight and we can't give up now, not when we are so close to the finish line. It's asking us to find a way to rest as we go. How can we continue to move with the same amount of full-hearted commitment while also giving ourselves the permission to rest and take care of ourselves so that we may continue to give it our all? This doesn't mean that we will be at 100% every day, but what it does mean is that we are able to show up with our best, ensuring that we will not be hard on ourselves because we understand that we did all that we could without pushing ourselves to the breaking point. For what good is it to reach our goal and lose ourselves in the process? You wouldn't savor the rewards that come from its fulfillment. And lastly, we are looking at the Three of Swords, and the Three of Swords is really here as a soul guide to really tend to our heart wounds and to hold ourselves within that process. In this position, it is really asking us to tend our hearts, especially when we begin to engage in the world in new ways. Are we allowing ourselves to go fully into our experience of heartbreak, grief, and emotional pain? It is necessary for us to move through these natural cycles in order to find respite and through the tears cleanse ourselves on a heart level. If we fail to do so, we risk becoming locked in the emotional cycles as we perseverate on the thoughts that create the moods that then become the temperaments that then turn into our own set personality patterns. The Three of Swords wants us to remove these swords, to be free of the pain cycles by acknowledging that it is there and allowing it to fall away so that we can receive the medicine that is waiting to be unlocked on the other side of the hurt. It is here to fortify us, to make us better communicators and space holders by teaching us how to tend to ourselves in the most tender of situations. How can we acknowledge our own personal experience while also holding others in their process without invalidating their own experience despite how triggering it may be for us in the moment? This is the card that opens us up to the compassion needed to witness others through the eyes of God, so that we don't take their unconscious projections as direct reminders that irritate and agitate old wounds. So tend to the sacred wound and leverage it as a tool to connect more deeply with others who may be hiding their own pain behind distractions and surface conversations. And that was my reading for the month of December 2020. I hope that you'll join me again next month for our January reading. And until then, choose.